Welcome back, my lovely viewers. Today I want to talk to you about a deck that I've been cooking up ever since I got my hands on the Ant-Man Hero Pack and all the wonderful attachments that are in it. And this I'm going to unimaginatively call the Black Panther Double Ally Voltron build. So the concept of a Voltron build means we're going to just use lots of attachments to really power up a particular, in this case, ally. So we're going to do two allies, why it's a double ally Voltron build. The first ally we want to look at is Ronin. So he gets +1 thwart, +1 attack while an upgrade is attached to him. He has 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 health right now. So that means he'll be a 2-3 with even just 1 attachment on him. And that's fantastic. The other ally we want to look at is War Machine. Now this may seem strange at first when there's so many other choices, but what I really like about War Machine, he costs 1 more, he has 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health, which is great. Now he comes in with toughness. Toughness is not going to be about blocking here. Toughness is going to be an extra activation. And he also has this ability, which is the reason why he's here. War Machine's basic attack gains ranged. Ranged attacks ignore, retaliate. Big problem with using allies as primary attackers is they come up against a villain or a minion who has retaliate, they're taking a consequential damage and another damage, and that's just dramatically reducing the value that you can get out of them. So I think War Machine is really important in this kind of deck because the allies are really important. Activations are precious. Activations are the value of the ally, and he's going to ignore any kind of retaliate. So I think he's a really, really important inclusion here. Now, speaking of the attachments, first thing we want to look at is Inspired. We want 2 copies of this. Attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gets +1 thwart, +1 attack. This is great. So that means we put this on Ronin. He's a 2-3, then he becomes a 3-4. War Machine becomes a 3-3. So that's fantastic. Then we also want to include Power Gloves, 1 copy for each ally. Attached to an Avenger ally, no problem, they're both Avengers. Response: after attached ally attacks or thwarts, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we can already, on a basic level, consider this to be another +1 attack. But the beauty of this is that 2 things. First of all, of course, it triggers on thwarting as well. So even if these guys thwart, they're still going to do a ping damage to somebody. That can remove tough status or finish off a lingering minion. The other cool thing is it says to an enemy. So it's not even a particular enemy that they're attacking. It can be anybody on the board. So again, this is a really useful card for this build. Now, as we said, activations are very important. Ally health is tremendously important. So we want to have Reinforced Suit. All right, attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gets +2 hit points. So that's 5 and 5. So that's 4 activations. They will never suicide. Speaking of activations, Sky Cycle. We want to go faster. The whole point is we want really good tempo. We want to just bring the pain faster than the villain can do anything. So Sky Cycle, attached to an Avenger ally, no problem. Attached ally gains aerial, don't care. Action, exhaust Sky Cycle, ready attached ally. That's the money right there. So basically, this replaces Get Ready. So instead of having 3 copies of Get Ready in the deck, we just have 2 Sky Cycles, 1 for each, and they can do it every turn as long as they have the health to pay for it, which again is being helped by the suit. Then we want to have 1 copy of Team Training, which gives them +1 hit point, so that's +1 activations. So we're at, we said 4 here, so then that's 5, right? Or sorry, there's 5, now it's 6. So that's very good, 5 activations. We don't want to stop there, more hit points, more activations. So we want 3 copies of Honorary Avenger. So this is play only if your identity has the Avenger trait. We do, we're Black Panther. Attached to a friendly character. Attached character gets +1 hit point. Perfect. That's 3 more activations right there. It's also +3 to their max hit points, +2 to their max hit points. That's going to matter in a second. So this is great. Just spread it out over whoever needs it. So now we want to talk about stamina and endurance, getting more activations and keeping them going. So we need 3 inspiring presence. And this is important because it says play only if your identity has the Avenger trait. Again, not a problem. Hero action. Heal 1 damage from an ally and ready it. So if these guys run out of gas, you bring this out, it heals 1 damage, and then you can use them again because it readies them. This is a beautiful card, fantastic card, and it only costs 1. That's amazing. So considering that health is stamina and health is activations, we also want to have 3 copies of first aid in here. So that's 1 cost, heal 2 damage from any character. That's 6 activations. 6 more health, 6 activations that we can get from these guys again. So just divide it over whoever needs it, and away you go. So this is our healing suite, our stamina suite, our endurance suite right here. Plus we get the bonus of readying. And since we have high max HP on these guys, +2 and +3 spread out, we can also keep them topped up as well. Even if they're starting to dip down, you don't want to hang on to these cards in your hand, just play it and just top them up, no problem. Now, one thing you're going to run into is you're going to say, well, hang on, I've got all these cards that are related to my allies, but what if I don't get my allies? What if they're sitting at the bottom of the deck? Well, the important thing, and I think this is one of the most critical cards in the deck, Call for Aid. So we absolutely need this card in the deck. And it says 0 cost, which is fantastic. Hero action, discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard an Avenger ally, then add that ally to your hand. These guys are both Avengers. Perfect. So this is just speed. So think about this. If you just had these guys, you have 2 chances in your deck to get your ally. With this, you now have 5 chances to get your ally. So that is just really important for the consistency and reliability of this deck. So the other benefit to Call for Aid is maybe when you're digging for these guys, maybe even with Call for Aid, you dumped a bunch of your upgrades and you're like, uh-oh, I got my dudes out, but I can't put anything on them. So lay down Call for Aid again. It'll search through your entire deck, it'll whiff, and it'll reset your deck for the cost of an encounter card. Then you can just start drawing cards and get your upgrades back again. So, or again, it's also the redundancy and reliability. If these guys get discarded somehow, maybe like there's a treachery that discards them or whatever, then you can just Call for Aid, reset the deck, maybe you get another Call for Aid, pull them back out again. So it's just protecting your allies. It basically replaces rapid response and make the call. So it's functioning on that level as well. It's doing double duty. Now, there are, if we take away the signature allies, signature cards for the hero, which we'll talk about in a second, you'll notice that there are 2 slots left over in a 40 card deck. Now, there are lots of different choices here, what you could put in, and this is not to say that it's the best thing, but from my experience and what I like, I chose to put in Teamwork. And I know this card is normally terrible, but let's look at it again in this perspective. So it's 0 cost, great. Hero Interrupt. When you use your basic thwart power or basic attack power, exhaust an ally you control, add that ally's matching power to your hero's power for this use. So we're talking about Ronin has an attack of 5, right? So he's got 3, 4. Okay, he's got an attack of 4 right now. We add 4 to Black Panther's attack of 2. That's 6 damage. Black Panther can swing for 6 damage. So we're getting the value of their boosted stats without having to use an activation cost. So the consequential damage. They're not going to take that consequential damage. So that's incredible value. It's the exact same thing as using them normally, but we don't have to hit that damage button. So I think that's really great in this particular build. And the beauty of it is it works with thwarting as well. And Black Panther has 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. So he can add their 3 thwart to his. He can thwart for 5. He can add Ronin's 4 attack. He can attack for 6. So that's tremendous value, and there's no penalty, no cost to us, because these guys might already be out of gas, and they're just sitting there doing nothing while you're waiting for your healing suite to go back online. So no problem. Or maybe they're not fully upgraded yet, and you're waiting for your Sky Cycle, you're waiting for your reinforced suit. Just use Teamwork. Maybe they've got the Inspired already. Perfect, go for it. So I think for me and my playstyle, the way I like to do it, this is the one that I would add. Now I'm going to say one thing too. This is the 40 card deck version, and I personally, when I play this, I add the 3rd copy of Teamwork, and I go up to 41 cards. Because for me, the difference of 40 and 41 is absolutely negligible, but the value of having another free activation from these guys is tremendously valuable for the cost of 1 card. So again, this is the 40 card version that I want to show you guys because I know everybody likes to have 40 cards. But in my case, when I run this, I add the third copy and I go up to 41. So it depends on you and how you like to play it, but I think that has great value. All right, now let's talk about Black Panther and how Black Panther fits into this. So again, he's got these really great stats: 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. So he can step in and do any kind of duty that he needs to do. There's great versatility and teamwork between these guys. He's got Retaliate 1, so he's still also helping out with tough status tokens and chipping away at enemies. He's got his Recovery, so he can help out there. But beyond that, we want to look at his cards. He's got really great cards that synergize so well with this deck. So first thing we're going to look at is Shuri. And Shuri has, first most important thing about Shuri is she's not an Avenger. She's Genius and Wakanda. So she will not trigger Call for Aid. That's really, really critical. We don't want to have any hero here that has an Avenger signature ally, unless, of course, that's what you want. But in my case, I don't want it. I want these guys. So, great. More importantly than that, her ability is fantastic. Response: after Shuri enters play, search your deck for an upgrade and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Well, we've got an upgrade right here. Inspired. We've got Power Gloves, Reinforced Suit, Sky Cycle, Honorary Avenger. We can get any of these when Shuri comes out. Awesome. Great, great synergy. All right, next. The Golden City. Alter Ego action. Exhaust the Golden City, draw 2 cards. Beautiful. Tempo, right there. There's our tempo. So maybe we've got these guys out, but we're fishing for upgrades now. Draw 2 cards. Flip, draw 2 cards. He's got 4 recovery, so flipping is not a big deal. He might do it from time to time anyway, since his role is primarily the defender. So you're going to get that value. Anytime he flips, draw 2 more cards. That's going to get our events out faster. It's going to get our upgrades out faster. So awesome synergy there too. Next, we'll go over to here. Ancestral Knowledge. Alter Ego action is the event card. Choose up to 3 different cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. Wow, does it get any better than that, guys? So maybe these guys got dumped and you want to get them back into your deck. Maybe you want to get just 3 upgrades back into your deck. Go ahead. Maybe you want to get 3 Inspiring Presence back in your deck. Maybe you want 6 more activations. Okay, maybe you want your Teamworks back. Doesn't matter. Just get whatever you want. This is an amazing card, and how could it not work so well with this deck or any deck? It's just a great card. All right. Next, we're going to talk about his suit. And there's not a lot we need to say about his suit because it's not super important to this build. But what I will say is he's got Tactical Genius, remove 1 threat or 2 threat. Panther Claws, deal 2 damage to an enemy or 4 damage. Energy Daggers, this is very good. Choose a player, deal 1 damage to the villain, and to each enemy engaged with that player, 2 damage instead if this is the final step in the sequence. He's got an AoE right here in his Energy Daggers. So this is great for getting rid of the tough status, getting rid of lingering minions if you get swarmed, because again, you've just got 3 guys here. You don't have a whole like army swarm of allies. So, you know, this is really great synergy for, you know, high minion, for example, like Red Skull or Zola. They have lots of minions that are just constantly coming out. So this is going to be really helpful. Vibranium Suit. Move 1 damage from your hero to an enemy, 2 damage instead if it's the final step. This is really great. And this is the one that I would personally recommend, is the first one. So when you set up, search your deck for a Black Panther upgrade, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. So it's up to you, of course, on how you like to play, but I think either one of these are going to be great. If you get either the Vibranium Suit or the Energy Daggers as the first one, it's going to help these guys tremendously. So the reason I like this one in particular, though, is he's defending in the early game, he's getting banged up, and I love to redirect damage. I just love that idea. So I would love to take the damage they're doing to me and send it back to them, or finish off some minions with it, remove some tough status with it, or even bypass Retaliate because it is indirect damage. It's not an attack step. So that is really, really good. All right. Now, we got to talk about economy. We got to talk about money. So you'll notice where we are right now is we're almost at the end of the hero cards, but there's nothing in here. There's no resources. There's no energy. There's no genius. There's no strength. There's no power of leadership. And to be honest, we don't need power of leadership because all these cards are really cheap. All the upgrades only cost 1. Here, these cost 1, this costs 1, 0, 0, 0, and these are pretty cheap too. Even the Black Panther cards are pretty cheap. So we don't need that kind of card. The expensive cards are right here, the 2 allies. That's it. But that said, this is the main reason that first attracted me to Black Panther in the first place. We've got 3 copies of Vibranium. They're double resource, wild. That immediately replaces Genius, Strength, and Energy from his signature pool. So we don't need to increase this deck to 43 or 44 cards just to have those basic resource cards. It's already included in the signature pool. That is amazing right there. Now, more than that, we also have other cards that don't matter. So we said, like, we don't care about Black Panther in the beginning, in the early game. We just want him to basically defend and help support these guys, getting them suited up. So that means he's not caring about his suit either. And he's got his Wakanda Forevers right here. And we don't even care about those. This is just 5 resource cards that are going to help pay for anything here. All these cards cost 1 or 0. So we've got 5 cards here that are just going to pay for that. So we've got 5 single resource cards for money, and we've got 3 double resource cards for money. Late game, of course, when we've got everybody suited up and we're just waiting for the healing cards to come back around again, or the teamworks to come back around again, you'll start suiting up Black Panther, of course. Then you're going to have a really thinned out deck because his upgrades will be gone, the ally upgrades will be gone, you'll be down to just the events. So then you're going to have these Wakanda Forevers that are just going to pop up again and again and again, and it'll just be really, really great for Black Panther. He'll go online and he'll just start helping out tremendously in the late game as well. So that's the deck. I think it's really fun, and I think Black Panther synergizes very, very well with an ally Voltron build, and I think he synergizes very well with a double ally Voltron build. So this is my recommendation. I love this deck. As I said, I've tested it out, I've played it, it's a lot of fun. Again, there are some things you got to watch out for. You got to watch out for anything that targets your allies. You got to watch out for retaliate, and those are things that can break down your tempo. Just break the machine basically. But again, we've built in redundancy. We've built in 3 call for aids. You can reset your deck. You can go find these guys. We've got teamwork. When they run out of gas, they're not sitting there just dead weight. You got teamwork. Again, I would recommend the 3rd copy. Go to 41 cards, and then you've got 3 more basically activations from these guys that don't cost anything. You've got Shuri, who can get you your upgrades when you need them. You can draw cards, speed up your tempo. You got lots of economy here, and in the end, you can always just suit up Black Panther and go to work. So I think it's a great deck. It's a lot of fun. Give it a try. One thing I'll mention though is there are some possibilities if you don't like War Machine and you think this is not, you don't care about ranged, you don't care about retaliate, you don't care about the toughness. Maybe you care more about speed. You want to just really focus on that, making the deck as fast as possible. Then I would change him to Iron Man. So Iron Man is same cost, same stats, 4, 2, and 2, and 3, same health. It's exactly the same. The difference is the ability. Reduce the cost to play each upgrade on Iron Man by 1. So of course that means all the upgrades are free because all the upgrades only cost 1. So he's just getting free upgrades every time. They're basically 0 cost cards for him. That's really great, don't get me wrong, and the value is there for sure. But I looked at it and we're only talking about 4 upgrades. And so you're really only saving 4 resources. That's like 2 vibraniums or 4 of these cards. So yeah, it's going to make you faster, but at the same time, it's just 4 resources. And in my style, how I like to play is I would prefer to have allies that can stick around because they don't suffer from retaliate damage. So for me, this is more valuable, and the extra activation with his toughness is also more valuable. Again, that's up to you. Another change you could make is maybe you want to go more attack. You want like a more offensive ally than just War Machine. So in that case, I would go with Giant Man. He has 5 cost, but again, 5 cost, what's the big deal, right? You got your Vibraniums here, you got your Wakanda Forevers, and then you've got the suit cards. You can always discard suit as well to get this. So 5 cost, you can soak that up pretty well in this build. So it's not a big deal. Go ahead, run Giant Man. He's got 2 thwart, 2 attack, 4 health, which is good. That's again 1 more activation, so health is valuable. Giant Man gets +2 attack while he has 3 or more remaining hit points. right? So he's going to be 4. He's going to be 5 with Inspired, 6 basically with the Power Gloves. So that's pretty good. So he's going to add 5 to Black Panther with the Teamwork as well. So great. Totally awesome. The only reason I hesitate about Giant Man is not really the cost. At first, like, yeah, I was hesitant because of the cost, but as I thought about it more, and again, this is where I think math people will come into this conversation, but you got to hold him at 3 hit points. So that means you're constantly losing an extra 2 activations because you got to keep him above, and maybe you don't care. Maybe you just drop him down and he'll be 3 attack, just like, you know, just like War Machine. It could be very similar and you don't care. So again, I think the math is great and it works very well. And probably at some point I'll try it out too and see how it goes. But for me, like I said, it's all about that range, that retaliate, because it's just so nasty when you come up against those villains or those minions. So again, I think this is really great. If you want to go double offense, 2 really strong attackers, I'd say go with Giant Man. It's going to be great. All right, guys. So that's the build. And again, you can put in other things here for teamwork. You can put in strength in numbers. You can put in ready for action. It costs 1, and it gives them a tough status card. It gives one person a tough status card. And at first you think, well, that's kind of dumb. But actually, you're just paying 1 to give them another activation. So again, it is not really the best tempo. But again, if you're just looking for basic activations more than anything else, you could go with that. Strength in numbers will let you draw cards, so maybe that's more important for getting your upgrades. Maybe you want to focus there. In my case, again, I just wanted to get the value. I just wanted pure value of these attack stats and added to Black Panther. So that's where I went with this. So that's the deck. That's how it goes. Give it a try. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you would change, what worked for you and your play style. Again, this is just how I like to do it. And yeah, I think it's a fun deck. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.